Good morning. Okay, we are planning a little flight here, and this is not going to be the completed, edited, and final dressed out for my family, my kids, my grandkids, to know a little bit about the history. I was born in Reading. That's R-E-A-D-I-N-G. We pronounce it Reading, and a little hospital there. That's where we're starting off from, Reading. And finally, my last home on the East Coast was in Summit, and left there when I was actually 17. I joined the service, so my folks actually moved to California when I was 21, just as I was getting out of the service. So let's see here. We got a little deal on my phone, which I could barely hear because I have my headset on. Okay, so what we the first 6 years of my life, from 37 to 43, during the war, the beginning of the war, lived in Reading, born and raised 6 years, and then just north of Springfield here is Northampton, a little crook. The little airport is there. Northampton is right there. You don't see it right now, but I see the Connecticut River here. And what we're going to do is we have the course line from Reading to Summit, and we will be at about 20,000 feet over Summit, if I can see it. You can see we come into the New York metropolitan area. There's LaGuardia, Kennedy International. LaGuardia is underneath, and right under here is, like, here's the Statue of Liberty. Almost under there is Manhattan, and you've seen me fly around there many times. This is the Hudson River coming down here, but we want to fly out to the Connecticut River. We'll probably turn a little bit before I'll be able to see this, and go straight up and kind of follow. As soon as we can see this, we'll make a left turn, hopefully a little short, so we just make a straight beeline up to Northampton. And that's where we move. The things to talk about in Reading are somewhat limited because I was there from birth until 6, and didn't have a lot of friends. You're not maybe 3 years you start to be aware of stuff, three to four things that I can recall. So that's kind of a short deal, and we're gonna get into a Cub up here where I first got my first flight, was up out of Northampton, I believe. So let's get going, and we'll go up here, Long Island, and the Long Island Sound is right in here. Fly along there. We had a few places that we stayed, family, and then we had another place which was over here, probably right about in there. I can't quite see Fairfield, but Fairfield's going to be right down in here. And again, that's another story. We don't have to get into that. If I see it, I'll point it out. If I don't, it's okay. Here we go. Unedited. And this takes a moment to boot up. That's that's probably my favorite airplane because of the electronics. That's the Dowher and the TBM 930. I love it because of the Garmin electronics, the autopilot, things that I didn't have when I was flying. Just awesome.
Tower strike 9er 0 ready for west departure at runway tree 1.
Okay, we're gonna make a right turn, and we go along the Schuylkill River, and that floods Reading quite often. And I'll tell you a little story about the flooding as we go along here. And we go outside, and I didn't check. I have to just get my console working. Zoom. Here we go. This is the updated F-15. Should click down here. Here we go. Let's get the sun high in the sky. Low. So when we get up to altitude, we'll be able to see better, see the ground better. Okay, here we go. Brakes off. Full power. Up, flaps up.
Strike 900 continues for west departure.
Power back.
Strike 900 leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Okay, there we go. So that's the river. We're going the wrong way on the river. That's the way we want to head when we head back. We'll just go zip around here and head downtown Reading. Gotta say goodbye.
Reading tower strike 900 frequency change.
Get that out of the way. So here we go, down. And we got a little thing here, the hospital where I was born is right there. And we see right here, we'll just stop for a second. Is Penske Repairs, it says, but the Schuylkill River flooded, and when I went by to see where they used to build the cars, because I met Mark Donahue when we lived in Summit, New Jersey, when I was in high school days. A friend was close friends with Mark, and so I knew him. He gave me a ride in his Corvette. But he and Penske got together after Mark finished at Brown. He's an engineer, and he was good. He was good at the suspensions in cars, setting up the suspensions. So working with the crew he was good at it. Penske also was a race car driver way back, and they had a very successful time. I think Mark won something like 59 races. And that was the start of that. Now we look right over here, and okay, so right here is the Reading Hospital, and I was born at Reading Hospital. So Taylor Swift was born there, and Senator John Fetterman was born there. The Reading Hospital, right there. And then we come right around here, and the little neighborhood I lived in. So this was the boulevard there, and possibly my kindergarten was possibly down in this area. I don't remember exactly how we got to kindergarten. I remember I had chocolate milk during the break, and that's about all I remember about kindergarten. That's probably the high school now. And then going over here, I used to watch the steam engines, and there was a pretzel company, a bakery that made pretzels right down here. And I'll go just a little further on. Let's see if we can see. So here's the pretzel right down here, and possibly right in this area between these two streets. We'll go in. A little closer. We lived in a duplex right along in here. There were about 3 of them, brick duplexes, 3-story. They had attics, and so we lived there the first 3 years, and then we moved over 1 block. This field right here, this is just an open field. So that's Delaware Avenue. This is Dolphin. So we moved over to Dolphin Avenue right along in here. I have pictures of those, but I don't know how to edit yet. So anyway, we're coming up to full power. I used to go down, right down here to Yeah, right down in here. Now it's called Do-Si-Do is a bakery there, but they used to make pretzels. So I love pretzels. And that's about it on that. Come up on the power, and we're gonna probably just continue on around. To go east. We'll look downtown again. There's the hospital. Where we live is right behind us. And we come right around to head east. You can see our course right there. And we'll go back here. And we'll get up here because we're now through the sound barrier. That was a quick tour of Reading and Wyomissing. And the river, which I can't remember the river. I didn't know about Penske way back then. I met them through Donahue. I met Roger through Donahue. Again, I'm not close with that crew, but when they hit the West Coast, I used to follow the racing, and they accepted. I got to working with Piper, and I had airplanes at my pleasure, and so I flew Mark around a few times. Landed on a few racetracks. One was Sears Point, north of San Francisco. Okay, so we're heading. This is the course that take me right over Summit. And we'll get up to 30,000 feet here. We'll get going about almost Mach 2. And we're high enough to get a contrail going. 35,000 feet, that's pretty good. And this, of course, going to Summit. I wonder if that's the Chesapeake. It's probably too far north to be the Chesapeake. I mean, yeah, that's probably Delaware Bay. 40,000 feet. Okay, now we'll get the nose down and get hooting across here. Yeah, you can see the New York area already. And we're coming back down a little bit. So by car, it's probably 5 to 6 hours by car from Reading to Northampton. And we used to go in the summers from Reading. We used to go up to Fairfield Beach. The family house was at Fairfield Beach. And there's a golf course. We belong to a golf course there at Summit, so we might be able to spot the golf course. Had two 18-hole courses there. I don't know one of these towns from the other. Look at they look. Well, you got small and big. This is probably going to be about the size of Summit. I don't know what the name of that town is. We might be able to bring it in with a. Yeah, here we go. We can. Goldberg. Back down lower. Somerset, that's close to Summit. And if we see the golf courses, I don't quite see it. So we're close to Summit right here, and with Somerset. And we're going to get into the New York metropolitan area. I didn't quite see the golf courses. Here's a golf course right there, but I don't think that's it. right in that area is Summit. And then we just fly up the Newark Liberty International. Yeah, we'll kind of stay on course here. And we'll take one more look back for Summit. Yeah, right in that area. Okay, and then we'll head up. Here's Connecticut starting here. We'll spot Manhattan. There's Manhattan right there. Statue of Liberty right there. And Kennedy is right out there, and LaGuardia is right over there, and Newark Airport is right behind us, right there, right behind us, Newark Airport. I've landed at Newark, and then right next door to LaGuardia, and out we're probably going right over the stadium. Yeah, right there is the stadium for the Giants. There's LaGuardia, right there to the right, right down there. And we head up Long Island Sound, looking for, this is Connecticut. We used to go along the Merritt Parkway, whether this is part of the Merritt Parkway, we used to take that before they had Highway 95 maybe? I don't know what the highways are back there now. But that's Connecticut, Westchester County. And we'll just zoom out here. We'll maybe see Bridgeport. We had a little flight from Bridgeport to Kennedy not too long ago. And possibly we'll see Fairfield Beach. That sometimes isn't too hard to spot right along in here. The shoreline looks like a seagull when you just use a single line to paint a seagull. This could be it right here. I know it because there's a little inlet that runs behind the shoreline, and I think that could be right in here. Oh, this maybe looks like it. There's no inlet there. Here's another little kind of seagull upside down. Yes, this is Fairfield Beach right there. And then Bridgeport, here's Igor Sikorsky. I talked about that. But right about in the middle of the beach there was where the family home was. And I'll be painting that in. The Bridgeport is right here on the left. Igor Sikorsky, he developed the helicopter. And then up in here we're going to see there's New Haven. That's where Yale is in New Haven. And then we're going to have to watch for the Connecticut River. I don't believe that's the Connecticut River there yet. We're not there. I think this next one is the Connecticut River. And we'll bring in the chart. New Haven, Hartford is up to the left, so we have to go up through Hartford. So we just point our nose up to the left. The Connecticut River comes in right there. That's the Connecticut River. And we used to go in Clinton. Let me see if we can get Clinton to light up. Clinton, Connecticut, right along in there was where we had a summer home, and at Grove Beach was right along in there. Here's the Connecticut River coming in, and we're going to follow that right on up to Northampton, and we'll fly over Hartford up here, Hartford, Connecticut, Springfield. We ought to see Springfield, Massachusetts. Mach 1.9. We're doing good. And of course, there was ways to cut across. We didn't have to if going to Northampton, but we only made the direct shot to Northampton one time. Now, my mother and her sister probably did that a couple of times when they went up there to look for a house, but they probably stopped over, if it was summertime, they probably stopped over in Fairfield. But my mother's sister's husband, Bill, Uncle Bill, I believe, heard about the job that my dad got at Pro Brush Company. No longer there. Okay, there's Bradley. Bradley isn't too far. And we see Springfield. You can see Springfield here. Bradley Field. Right there. Springfield right there. Agawam. And Springfield, I believe Springfield's where they invented basketball. And we just go with a little zigzag, and we'll probably see Northampton right up in here. Westover Field, Air Force Base right there. So then Northampton, we lived in Northampton from the time I was 6 until I was 12, and then we moved. There's Northampton, just popped up 12 miles away. We come back on the power. We put up the air brake, and we'll be getting in a Cub at Northampton to look around. Just went back down through the sound barrier. And if I can get it slowed down enough, Holyoke, I believe they had women's college there at Holyoke. They have a women's college at Northampton called Smith College. So we aren't going to get too newsy, but probably took my first flight in a Cub Cruiser. They made it 2 years, 48, 47, 48. Had the pilot seat in the front and then 2 seats side by side behind the pilot, tandem. And so we flew around here. I believe this is called Mount Tom, right there. And we're getting slowed down. We can put that away and start putting out the flaps. Put the gear down. Yeah, it's a little soon for that. But it's such a short runway. So that's Northampton, and then after Northampton we're going to go on up. My dad worked in Florence, which was up to the north, and then further on my friends that lived close to me in Northampton had a camp up in Williamsburg, Massachusetts, that's right. And we'll put this, get on the tail of this. There we go. We got a little slow. So of course the reason I use this machine is to get across, get the flight shorter. So this is going to be about a 20-minute flight. So that's the best landing. I've done this a couple of times. So I knew I had to get it lined up, and so the practice paid off. Normally I just jump in and fly, and that's why I call myself Captain Crunch, because half the landings I crunch down. A hard landing's called a crunched landing. Back when I was flying, I don't know now what you call it now. I think we're looking back at Mount Tom up there on the left. And again, I flew out. My first flight was in a Cub, and I don't know whether I called it that at the time, but anyway, Piper Cub. We'll just pull out here. Right over here, out of the way. Flaps up. That's pretty good. There we go. We'll get inside here where we can shut down the power. Sometimes if you don't put the power all the way to the idle, it won't turn off. I think that was the brakes. Here we go. Go outside and look over toward Northampton right there. So we'll be flying around Northampton in a short time, but these won't be the final things that I'll do for my autobiography. That will have been edited, and it's easier to edit when it's at this phase. Once you upload it to YouTube, it's very difficult. They have a program where you can edit a little bit, but you just have to do the editing. I think I'll have Apple help me out on my Mac to do the editing. This is done on a Alienware from Dell is what this is running on. It's kind of their gamer, which needed more RAM to run it, and it's Microsoft 2020 is the name of the program. So that's how we got the first. My birthplace was Reading, Pennsylvania, a little bit west there at the Reading Hospital. Again, Taylor Swift and her brother were born there. I don't know whether I said that. And then John Fetterman was also born there in the same hospital. It's expanded quite a lot since I was born there in 1937. Okay, enough of that. You guys take care. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.